All right. I'm gonna commentate just an example of how to one tick tank. We're gonna go over like 3 methods. First one I'm gonna tell you is like the fundamental one. You remember that 1, 2, 3, 4 thing that I was telling you? So that's like the audio cue version of the one tick tanking. And I'm gonna teach you that first and relate it to the 7 tick cycle that Verzik operates on P3, so you got an understanding of what's going on. So again, for review, remember I'm gonna actually, before we start, I'm gonna tell you like what sound effect I'm looking for. You remember how on 1 I said the sound effect occurs and that starts my cycle. I'm gonna let P3 tanking play out here, and I'm gonna say now every time that sound effect occurs. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Okay, I'm about to do it. Now. 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 Okay, so you notice how there's a lot of sounds going on. Like you hear that when she fires, she goes psh, psh. There's like a I guess a crescendo at the end of it. I don't know what you would call it, but so that thing that I said now to, if you think about this cycle in ticks, that sound effect occurs on tick 1 of my 4 tick cycle. So now I'm going to rewind it and I'm going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing that's telling me when I need to do my thing. So notice how in this cycle, the 1 is the sound effect, the 4 is the step back tick, and then I don't count 5, but there's a hypothetical 5 where you click Verzik. So I'm going to count it out here, and I'm gonna actually talk as it's happening. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, step back, hit Verzik. Sound effect, 2, 3, step back, hit Verzik. 1, 2, 3, step back, hit Verzik. 1, 2, 3, step back, hit Verzik. Okay. So you notice how I'm counting to the, you can hear my metronome go in the background. You notice how I'm counting to that. Like, you can, I hope the audio is directly with my voice. I don't know if there's a delay, but if you listen to my metronome going bop, 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 I mean, that's every tick, and you know that, you play with the metronome. So that's the audio cue tanking. Now, remember how I said there's a visual cue tanking, the step back visual cue method? I'm about to teach you that now. And I taught you the audio cue first because to set up the visual cue tanking, you have to be 1 tile away from Verzik when she fires her attack, because that is the amount that determines how far away you are from Verzik, determines how long it takes for the projectile to hit you, which means that to time it to where the hit splat is your cue for when you step back, you must be 1 tile away. So there's a reason for the step under method that you can't use this timing, because if you step under Verzik, it registers you on the attack tick as 1 tile under Verzik, which then shortens the projectile's time or distance to get to you, which then shortens the amount of ticks it takes for the projectile to hit you. And if you're doing Verzik, you will probably have noticed if you're under Verzik, that projectile hits you immediately, and you have to hit your prayer so quickly, versus when you're like 10 tiles away from Verzik, it takes forever for the projectile to hit you, and you have plenty of time to change your prayer. So that's kind of the premise for this method. So I'm essentially going to tell you when to click though here, and I want you to look at the screen, and when I click, and watch when the hit splat hits me, and notice how I click on hit splat after I've set it up. So here we're going to start it with the setup. Remember, I have to be 1 tile back on the attack tick. So that follows with the audio cue version, the 1, 2, 3 step back. That will put you in time for the step back visual cue method. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now it's set up. So now I know I can just step back on the hit splat and I will always be in the 1 tick tank cycle. So here we go. Now I'm not even going to count. It's brain dead. You just click on the hit splat. Click. So look at the hit splat and click. See how right when the hit splat hits me, I'm clicking back? So when I'm lazy tanking and I don't want to think about shit, this is what I do. You know what I mean? Because the audio method, you have to do 1, 2, 3. You have to be counting. You have to be thinking about it. This, you have a singular visual cue that, and you can't fuck it up. So you can literally yawn, take a nap, as long as you're just looking at the hit splats after you set it up. You can. This fight is AFK. You know what I mean? So that's the visual cue method. And again, I'll let it play out some more just so you can get some examples. And see how my yellow is occurring like right on the hit splat, like when it registers my click. And then webs. Okay, so that's the visual cue step back method. Now let's talk about the step under method. If you want to keep Verzik in one place. So I don't have a clip of this, but the visual cue is essentially either it's really inconsistent. I don't do the visual step under because I fuck it up. But when I do my 1 tick step unders, I use the 1, 2, 3, 4 cycle because I can trust it. I've had times where for some reason the hit splat doesn't disappear fast enough and then I get a melee. But the timing for the step under is right when the hit splat disappears or is about to disappear. It kind of depends for some reason sometimes, but essentially you can use the same 1, 2, 3 step under, hit Verzik. You know, but the hit splat is going to be different. Your visual cue will be different. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if you're stepping under. Just a hypothetical. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the hit splat, you see how it took so long there? That's because we're not a tile under. Let's actually start it on the, so let's, all right, I'm 1 tile back now. So watch how long it takes for the projectile to hit me. Imagine that you had just stepped under to start this. Like you went 1, 2, 3, step under on 4, hit Verzik on 5. Imagine you did that. The hit splat would have already disappeared by the time my yellow click was registered, and I would have been stepping under Verzik. So I'm going to tell you, so hit splat would have hit already, and when the hit splat appears is when it would have disappeared in the step under method. So disappear and I would step under. Does that make sense? I recommend you do the step back method until you have an understanding of her cycle before you try the step under method with the visual cue. And you can do the step under method if you do the audio version. The audio cue version always works. It does not matter where you are. If you can see Verzik, no, you don't even have to see Verzik. If you can hear that sound effect I'm talking about, then you know that's your 1. And if you just go 1, 2, 3, step under with the metronome, you are always in time. Or step away. You can do either. You just can't be in front of Verzik. Like you can't be right by her for that 4th tick, or you're gonna get a melee. And so now I want you to actually understand the cycle. So you might have noticed how I said Verzik works on a 7 tick cycle. And you might have noticed how I said my 1, 2, 3, 4 coincides with the 3, 4, 5, 6 of Verzik cycle. I actually in the Discord message said it wrong. I said it was the 1, 2, 3, 4 coincided with the 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 with the 3, 4, 5, 6 of Verzik's 7 tick cycle. but I'm going to walk through. I'm going to count all 7 ticks now and listen to the metronome in my voice. This is why I recommend you play with the metronome, because every tick is counted. There's no RNG. There's no, you're not ever left wondering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm just going to count the 3, 4, 5, 6 as if it were my 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can see where that lies in the cycle. So here we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you see how I put emphasis on 3, 6, and 7? The main ticks in this cycle where there's not just an empty event occurring. On 1, Verzik does her animation. On 3, the sound effect occurs. And on 6, you step back or you step under. And on 7, you can click Verzik. That's the cycle. And I'm going to go through a whole kill just counting the 7 tick cycle thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Step back, hit Verzik. 1, 2, 3. Step back, hit Verzik. 1, 2. Step. Yeah, fucked it up there. See, I'm not used to counting the 7 tick cycle, but I'm going to count the 7 tick cycle with just, instead of saying the numbers, I'm going to say what you're doing on those ticks. So it'll be animation 2. It'll be animation 2, sound effect 4, 5, step back, hit. So animation 2, sound effect 4, 5, step back, hit. See how the cycle works? And I know this cycle like the back of my hand, so I can kind of do that. But you probably, your best bet is to do the visual cue thing. And if you want to set Verzik up off the rip without counting with the audio cue, what you can do is turn your walk on and just start, like, right when this fight starts and she aggroes on you, you start walking back and just keep walking until she fires, and then click Verzik. Because that means you're going to be 1 tile away from her when she attacks, and you know you are, and that means you can rely on your visual cue instead of the 1, 2, 3 step back, hit Verzik. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I'm going to send this to you to watch and listen to, so just, you can review it as many times as you want. This is the thing you can't find. Like, I tried to find a video like this on YouTube. There's no real good explanation of Verzik like this, so I just made one. Anyway, that's it.